to The Melancholy Guy Talks Ethical Non-Monogamy. This is a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be black, open, and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous, African-American male. I am The Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today, I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. My blog can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. So, this show is basically broken up into three parts: past, the polycule speaks; present, what's up with the polycule; and future, accepting the change. Hey, welcome back to episode 34. I am recording the podcast a couple days late due to the scheduling now. Now that I have interviews, people that I am interviewing for the podcast, I have to get on their schedule, and I couldn't actually record the interview until Sunday evening about 6, and after that I was spent because I just basically had a pretty busy weekend. Working on little side jobs and things like that with my brother family. So the podcast is a couple days late, but you know what? It's gonna be worth the wait. It's a really good interview I had come on. But first, I want to talk about some good news for me. And in my life, I actually am starting a new position on July 5th. It's actually going to be here, like I said, D.C., or actually going to be in the PG area of Maryland, close to D.C. And I am going to be working, of course, in IT. I get to go up to New York for a couple of days in July. Like July 5th, I'll be in New York if anybody wants to hang out. July 5th and 6th, so just Thursday and Friday, and I'll come back Friday night. So excited about that, and then I'll start in Maryland at my home location on that Monday. So that's some good news. Sticking to it, being persistent. I'm back at it, back working, and I'm excited about that. For the opportunities to, at least, because I've been keeping myself busy. I was thinking that I'm going to really have a hard time, doing all the things that I do with projects and people I get to hang out with and working, adding on new projects when I start working. Yeah, but, we'll work it out one day at a time. No time for bullshit, just, time for real shit. And that's I'm gonna keep that because that's gonna be real, because you know what I mean. I'm gonna be busy doing what I need to do for myself. So to the show. So this week, I got a great interview with a person who is polyamorous, with who I've known for a while. I'm trying to catch myself from saying it's kind of difficult because I didn't realize I actually say that a lot. But listening to the podcast, I actually can hear myself saying it. So I'm going to try to not saying it as much. I mean, it irritates me. I'm not sure if it irritates anyone that listens to the podcast. I don't know, because no one's told me anything about it. But it irritates me saying that. So I am going to try to catch myself from saying it. So I may be awkward at times. It's only because I'm trying to improve. So I'm going to read from the blog today, and what I'm going to do as far as the blog goes from this point on is I'm going to integrate the blog into the subject, or how I perceived how the person or the person I interviewed, their story, because I think that for most of us that are in polyamory or ethical non-monogamy, we're sort of on a journey. A lot of us are on a journey from, leaving monogamy, going into ethical non-monogamy, or trying to find our place in ethical non-monogamy. And anytime I think that you're in something like, I can call this a counterculture or alternative lifestyle, you're on a journey because you accept change. You embrace the change. I told the three parts of the show. The last part is called Future Accepting the Change. And that's basically what we do. Because I was talking to someone yesterday. Interesting. She said she wants that permanent person, that foundation in a relationship, and I definitely want that too. I was married twice, so commitment is important to me. But even in that, I still accept that those relationships are going to change, and for me, at this point, it's hard for me always to nail down like I only want two relationships. I think I can only do two relationships. I don't know. I haven't met two people that I'm in love with. Right now, I'm in love with one, and we'll see because I have people in my life and some people that I have to go back and talk to one of these days and see what's up. So with that, I think I'm gonna read a blog entry today. It's actually from October 20th of 2013. That was the first month of my separation. Actually, that's when I moved into my own apartment. And I'm gonna read this. It's a long one because It's about change, about what should have been a new beginning for me, but actually wasn't. It was me continuing my same old bullshit. And when I read it, I'll explain why afterwards. And then the reason why I picked this entry was because the person that I spoke with, or is going to be speaking from the Polycule this week, actually has been going through change too. She also just came out of she came out of a bad relationship in 2017, and then just had to uproot and change everything about her life, and now she's very happy pursuing something completely different, not completely different than what she was doing before, but more in line with her true desires. So big ups to her for that. Being honest about, or having to be honest about, and actually having to change, accepting the change, and then going for exactly what you want to find your happiness and your bliss. I think it's great. And you'll hear the podcast. Her name is Nell, a friend of mine. But first, I'm gonna read the blog post because, like I said, this was the beginning of my separation, or actually physical separation. We were emotionally separated long before actually we both got our own places, own apartments. So it starts. So I have decided to begin again. I am just not happy. After about 4 years of opening up our marriage, moving from swinging to poly, and something in the middle, I found that I need to just stop everything and take some time to do some inner reflection. Something has gone terribly wrong, and the fact that my wife and I are now living in two separate apartments definitely seems to be proof that I have personally fucked up somewhere on this journey. The reason that I say fucked up is simple. My wife seems perfectly happy with the current situation and wants us to date and hang out like we used to before we even got married. No, she didn't. Divorce is never discussed and not really on the menu. So I can only conclude that I am at fault and cause my wife to tell me that she's getting her own place and wants to return to a monogamous lifestyle. Her main reason for her desire to return to monogamy was that she didn't want the drama anymore. And this was the drama that I was bringing into our lives. I was not exhibiting the patience to let our new relationship develop organically. I wasn't discerning enough with our new potential partners. I ended up just looking for the good times and got upset or depressed when things weren't going my way. That's not the true reason. Some of that's true, but as you noticed, I didn't mention addiction or anything like that, right? I'm only blaming this whole thing on, the transition from and the drama that came with going from monogamy to ethical non-monogamy. That was more. I can't really say that I blame her. I made some pretty shitty choices, which included entirely too much drinking and partying. That's code. I chose some women and couples that really weren't ready for a true open lifestyle, and they were not doing the work that we were doing to enhance each other's lives and experiences. That's some true stuff there. I recently heard a podcast, Polyamory Weekly. I highly recommend that podcast. I added that. And the subject was about 4 mistakes that couples make opening up their relationships. I identified with all of them, but one mistake hit me the hardest. Do not go faster than your partner is moving into non-monogamy. I was on a Ducati Superbike and she was on a Vespa scooter. So for the next year, it's going to be about me getting healthy and reestablishing the relationship and the friendship that I had with the woman that I truly still do love. No matter the outcome, I always want her in my life. She's my best friend. Wish me luck. We have a date this Friday night. Now, do we have that date? I don't know. I doubt it. She really wasn't interested in anything else but separating at that point. I don't think she just didn't want to say it. But I really know, looking back, hindsight's 2020, she wasn't interested. And I definitely was going on my merry way with my shenanigans from that point on. Actually, from that point on, October 2013 till June 2014 was some of the darkest times of my life. Me just trying to get back to some, I don't know, something normal. Basically, my addiction went crazy, out of control, and I actually quit. I actually resigned from my job, took out my 401k, and just had a crazy time. But luckily I'm still alive and I'm in a good place now. Oh, also, 90 days just passed. I think this is day 92. And yesterday was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. Take note for that. I went to breakfast with my daughter, had a great time with her, and then spent the day helping someone pack up their house. It's great to be of service, and it's great to be in my loved ones' lives without drama. I'm grateful and I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and in this section now. Like I said, you can see from here, this is about change, and I think that us in the non-monogamous community, like I said, accept change. We go through change, but we also can use these relationships that we go through, because I think one thing that I've noticed, or that what I'm going through right now, is I have actual friends that I've had for 2 or 3 years, and this is one, Nell, that stay around. And I'm grateful that I'm able to be honest. I'm able to listen to them honestly, provide honest feedback, and then they're able to give me honest feedback as we, all grow together. And one thing about it, if you have that type of relationship with people, I think you can, catch on to your bullshit faster, because you can hear yourself saying the same thing over and over again. Like, what the fuck? You need to change. Like, why am I saying the same thing over and over again? I see you moving on and changing. I see how you figured that out. And listening to her, in her interview, I got to hear how she just flipped the script and got back on with her life and actually went to pursue what she really wanted, and is now, very happy. So, and didn't let something that was quite tragic, the relationship she had prior to, like I said, in 2017, put her in any type of depression or anything like that. She actually bounced back very well. So I'm going to go ahead and end this section, my introduction. And we're going to go right on into the Polycule Speaks. So next you will hear me introducing Nell, and we'll hear her story as she is speaking from the Polycule this week. Hey, how's it going? So this week I have someone special coming on the podcast. Her first time being on the Melancholy Guy. Actually, it's everyone's first time being on the Melancholy Guy, because I've only been here by myself. But this week I have someone, a very special friend of mine. Her name is going to be Nelly for the podcast. She's not out, so We're going to use Nelly. We've been friends for a while. We've actually never met, but we talk on the phone often. I often joke that she's the only person who is allowed to call me without texting first. Everyone else calls me first. She's the only person that just randomly calls like this is 1972 and text messaging and doesn't even work. So it's all good, but she's a good friend and somebody who is very special to me. So I'm going to get her to come on, say hello.
Hello.
All right, Nelly. So welcome to the Melancholy Guy. And
It's
I guess
Nell.
huh?
It's Nell.
Nell, I'm sorry. Nell. Okay. Nell is your, okay. It's a fake name, right? But okay. All
Yeah.
right, Nell. So welcome to the Melancholy Guy. And
hmm
I'm going to get to ask you a few questions. So what's your sexuality?
Um, I consider myself straight with a little bit of bi tendencies,
Okay.
so more of a hetero flexible.
Heteroflexible or bisexual, as some people say.
Yeah,
If it
sure.
presents itself, you get it. But so, would you say that you're strictly like hetero-romantic? Hetero-romantic.
Whew.
These are just
Yeah.
off the top of my head questions.
Yes, I would.
Okay. So you wouldn't get into a serious, loving relationship with a woman.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't. It's
Okay.
just for me, it's hard for me to
Okay.
do that.
Okay. So you never have.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
I've
Cool.
tried. No, no. But at one point in time, I did try,
Uh huh.
but it never went past maybe like conversations via text messages.
Right.
That's as far as it's been.
Wow. I think I learned something new today. So, welcome to the Polycule Speaks. So, I'm going to ask you three questions that I think are designed or I think can bring out your story, your coming out story or becoming story, your story of origin. Basically, how did you get here into the non-monogamous community? Because were you born non-monogamous? You think? This is a general question on top of my head.
I think yes. I
Okay.
think I was, but I came from a family who they were deeply in the church. My mom's a minister, my
Mm-hmm.
dad's a deacon.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of just pushed towards us like, monogamy and getting married and then having kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because of that, we kind of like I was just going with the flow in how my parents raised
Right,
me.
right. Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask you one of the three questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and roll with it. Okay. Anything else you
Sure.
want to say before we get started?
Not yet.
All right. Cool. All right. So what do you call your ethical non-monogamy?
I consider myself a polyamorous swinger.
Polyamorous swinger. Oh wow. So you're a a polyamorous person. So you believe in many loves, right?
hmm
But you
Yes.
also like to mix it up a little bit.
Yes, I like to swing.
Yeah, yeah, I like to swing too. I mean, I don't know. I used to like to swing. I was a swinger. As you know, I've talked about it on my podcast a lot. I definitely
hmm
was a swinger, but I got out of it. I don't know. I got out of it. I got out of it. Well, I think my wife wanted to get out of it first, and eventually, I got out of it too because I think for me, swinging really is good with a couple. Like being a single person, a single guy especially, swinging kind of sucks. All right. So, how did you come to that name, conclusion, or description?
Because see, I like having those multiple romantic relationships with
Mm-hmm.
people. But then I also like having relationships where it's just swinging and swinging only.
Mm-hmm.
I, for me, I keep them separate in a sense, with the exception of one partner that I was with. We were in a polyamorous relationship,
Right.
and it was a romantic relationship, but we also went to swinger clubs, and
Mm-hmm.
we did our thing there. But then outside of the club, we went back to our romantic relationships.
Okay. Okay. So how did you? So tell us a little bit about how you actually came like from monogamy into this new polyamorous swinger life that you're living
Oh,
now.
so you want the story?
I need the story, man. This is what I need
I
to
can
hear.
give you the full in-depth story.
Go ahead.
I was in a relationship, a monogamous relationship, for 4 years.
How old were
with
you
the person? Huh?
How old were you then?
I was 25.
Okay.
25 to about 29 is when I was in that relationship. And it was a person that I really wanted to marry. I seen myself, but I also was having like some extra desires in my heart that I also wanted to have relationships with other people. Okay. But I kind of tamed those feelings and just kept on with the monogamy. It wasn't until I felt like the relationship wasn't going anywhere. That's when I was like, you know what? I broke it off with him, and that's when I started the whole non-monogamy.
Okay.
And then I did that for about 2 years until I met someone in a poly community. Okay. And that's when he started telling me more about being polyamorous. And it was something that I started doing research at that point in time. And then that's when I started really, really going out, having these multiple relationships with people, these romantic relationships. At the time, I wasn't swinging. And that's how I became polyamorous. It wasn't until like after, I would say about 3 relationships after I became polyamorous that I started really venturing into the swinger lifestyle.
Okay. So 3 relationships, 3 polyamorous relationships.
Correct.
3 serious polyamorous relationships. And so before like 24, 25, like before you got in that 4-year relationship, like when you were, I guess, from high school on, did you feel that you were just monogamous, or you just had like the one type of, the one boyfriend, the traditional relationships?
Yeah, I would say I was more in the traditional relationship, the monogamy, that boring life,
Oh. Why you say it's boring? Why? Monogamy is not boring. Why do you say it's boring?
It just doesn't. It feels like it wasn't fulfilling enough. Like it felt like there was so much. Now looking back, now that I'm older and looking back at my previous relationships, it just feels like I was just living the way my parents wanted me to live, and not how I truly, the desires of my heart. Okay. That's how it felt.
Okay. So you're saying that you felt, it's not that it was boring, it was like not fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's like something else was there. That's the way I felt. To me, it always just felt like, it just felt weird to like only, like if I love someone, then I couldn't love anyone else. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense to me at all. It never did. It never ever did. But I went along with it because, if either I went along with it or I was a cheater, and I was a cheater in high school, unfortunately. And you know what? I can't say that I was a cheater. I just never ever committed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I would just be on the move. If I was with you, I was with you. If I wasn't, then I wasn't. And that seemed natural to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't until it wasn't until like I got 18, got back into church, and that, all of a sudden monogamy was important.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a disaster.
Well, the thing is, I didn't lose my virginity till I was like 20 years old. And I
mean that's good, right? That's not. I'm sorry. Did I laugh?
Yes, you did laugh.
I'm sorry.
You laughed at me.
I didn't laugh at you. No.
But it was like when I lost my virginity, I ended up pregnant at the same time.
Wow.
So it was like
first time.
with me for me. And
but you know what? Can you hold on one second? I want to ask a question about that. Because it's interesting. You live in Florida. So you got married. I wasn't going to say that. I'm sorry. But it's okay if I say that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So anyway, in Florida, do they have like a robust sexual education?
They did, but they were only talking about just very little. They wasn't really going in depth like they're doing now. I feel like these days there's so much information out there that's educating kids, even if they don't take the advice given. Right. It wasn't like that when I was growing up.
Right. So when you got pregnant, you say the first time you had sex at 20 years old, and you got pregnant. Now, did you know about using condoms, prevention, all that kind of stuff?
Actually, at that time, I didn't even know what a condom looked like. Like that wasn't taught to me.
Wow. See, that's the problem. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like you. I don't think you having sex at 20.
You hear about. Okay, well, you're supposed to use condoms per se, but I didn't know anything about like what it looks like, how you put it on. It's just like there was no one there. Unfortunately, my mom, she was in school, so my oldest sister was always taking care of us while my mom went to school and work. I'm not even sure if she was even having sex at that age. Wow. Because by the time I was at that age, my sister was almost practically out the house. She was out and about doing her thing anyways. So it was just like we were just, kind of home when I was younger.
Okay. So interesting. So, yeah, definitely, myself, I think like sex education should include like condoms, how to use them, how to put them on, what they look like, and the benefits of using a condom. You know what I mean? Like that all could have been prevented. You know what I mean? So, because I guess hearing about you having, waiting so late to have sex, and then now you're a swinger. So, so I guess the sex was good at 20.
No,
just like I'm gonna get a lot of it.
Actually, no. To be honest with you, after I had my son, I still wasn't having sex like that. I didn't really start having sex until I was about 26. 25, 26 is when I really started having sex. Okay.
25, 26. And so, all right. Cool. So I'm gonna stay on this part before I ask the next question, because I want to pull a little bit more out of you on this, I guess we can move on to the next question, and then I'm going to go ahead and ask more information about, how you live your life. So what does that look like, or what does polyamorous swinging look like in your life today?
Okay, it looks like, well, right now, as you know, I had a relationship that we kind of just felt like it wasn't going that way, so we kind of stayed as friends. But prior to that,
I'm sorry. Your relationship, that was a relationship, a loving relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. It was a romantic, loving relationship.
Okay. You guys were swingers. You were a swinger couple.
Yes, we were.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me another question.
No. Because you say, go ahead. You say it broke up. You guys transitioned?
I really wouldn't say it was transition. Right. Yeah, it was just transition. And we remain friends. Okay. We still have a pretty decent relationship now. But what my policy life looks like now, I'm talking to a few people. Okay. They haven't really went to the point of the romantically kind of relationships. But I also, I swing. I probably go to the swinger club about 2 to 3 times a week.
From that 20-year-old. 20 years old to woof.
Yes.
So you have a very healthy sex life, basically.
Definitely. Okay. It is very healthy, and that's pretty much what it looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. I'm open to loving relationships, multiple
Mm-hmm.
loving relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It may or may not include that particular person swinging,
Okay.
but it for me it includes everyone knowing that I do swing.
Okay. So
Um,
you thinking swing
and
is going to be a part of your life for a while?
yes, for a
Okay.
while it will be.
This is a new development for you, right? I mean, you like started swinging like in 2018, right? Because we met like we became friends like 2 years
Actually,
ago.
no.
Okay.
I would say about 2 years. I was swinging. I've been
Mm-hmm.
swinging now. I've been doing it a lot more than what I used
Oh,
to.
you hit a sweet spot.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's just something that I like. I like to do. I'm not gonna say it's like a hobby or anything,
Uh-huh.
but it's definitely a place where I can go. It reduces stress. I can
Uh-huh.
go out and be in the jacuzzi, the pool, and it's like a non-judgmental free zone for me.
Okay.
Um, so
Do you
that's
think
why I
there's a
love it.
stigma?
Definitely. I think some people feel like you can't be polyamorous and swing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's completely false because I think like every relationship that you have with people is an individualized relationship.
Right.
So person A, only you have a relationship with the person, but you might not include sex.
Okay.
Sex
Right.
may not be involved, but then you can have
Hey.
another you
Hey.
like right. And then you can have another relationship where
Uh-huh.
you're in love with this person, you're having sex with this person. This person is probably um someone you communicate every single day.
Right.
You can have another relationship where it's just friends with benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more, nothing less. But then you can have another type of relationship where it's people you meet on a consistent basis
Mm-hmm.
at swing club, and that involves multiple people.
Okay.
So I think it's all individualized, and as long as everyone knows what you're doing and they understand this is what you're doing, and everyone's sitting down and talking about their feelings, they're communicating with each other. I feel like there's no difference with a swinging type of relationship from any other relationship. You just have to have some form of clear understanding.
Right. Right. Oh, that makes sense. What you're saying, it makes sense. You have a very good grasp on polyamory and swinging. You know what I mean? I wish more people would embrace swinging that are polyamorous. Cause I mean, that say they're polyamorous. Cause I think a lot of people out here today, they're saying they're polyamorous, but they're really acting like swingers. And they don't want to say they're swingers because they think they're going to get looked down. People are going to look down on them because they're swingers. And I think that's crazy.
Right.
I think that's crazy. It'll clear up a lot of the craziness in the community, the black and poly community. I got to bring up one more thing about you and your situation. That's that we actually don't hear about a lot, but you actually do date interracially, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How did that come about?
Woo!
I hope I didn't. What's that thing? What's it?
You threw a curveball at me,
I threw a curveball
but
at
it's
you.
okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I can answer it.
All right. Well, this
I
this
do.
is how your polyamory looks today. This is it's
Yeah,
different.
you're right.
Yeah.
I do date interracially,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the reasons why I do that is because with my experience, I'm naturally, I'm more of a not a dom. When I say submissive, I'm not talking about a submissive person in a dom sub relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about naturally. I'm a very submissive person, and what I've dealt with in the past, the type of guys I dealt with in the past, they were more controlling people. It had to be their way, or they wanted nothing but triads, or they wanted it was okay if women were involved, but they didn't. Or better yet, they excluded men. Or if men are involved, it's like they had to be over this guy number two, and I guess it just created chaotic relationships. And after my last relationship, it was very, very toxic. Um, and I just,
These were black guys, right?
yes,
Okay, African
and I
American.
had to really think like, what do I want? You know, forget about everyone else. What is going to make me happy? And it took me a few months to really, really, really reevaluate myself. Like I wanted to be with other guys. It's something about that male energy that I must have in my life. So I knew it was something I wanted. And people that I dated afterwards, a lot of black guys would tell me, "Hey, you're a little too open for me."
Wow.
It's something that they could not deal with.
When you say too
They
open, can you explain that a little bit? A little too open?
um they you really want me to say that?
Yeah.
I told them that I definitely wanted like a romantic type of relationships with different guys. Um, I'm more of a person who I
That
want
sounds like
everybody to be.
polyamory to me.
Yes, I'm about to add on to
Oh,
it
go
though.
ahead.
I wanted everybody to be equal partners. Even if I'm living with a person, I want everybody to be equal. Not only that, when I wanted to swing, I preferred MFMs.
Okay.
And I
I'm
preferred the
sorry,
guys.
everyone. MFM is male, female, male. Two men, one woman.
Yes, and
Hmm.
also I wanted the guys to be hetero flexible
Mm.
or even bi.
Okay.
Because I just felt like it was a lot easier for me personally to be pleased sexually.
Hmm.
And that for me, that was an important thing for me.
Okay.
And some of the black guys, they will be like, "Hey, I'm not trying to be that close to another guy."
Okay.
So I just knew that maybe there wouldn't have been a connection fully. I could have had an emotional connection,
Hmm.
but then it will drop off when it comes down to maybe your sexual needs. Um, so yeah, just for me, it wasn't really worth me actually getting with them because I know that once you start becoming intimate with a person and then you go into that type of sexual relationship, then
Hmm.
there's going to be something missing.
Okay.
And I feel like that would just lead to some form of unhappiness. And I didn't want to kind of go down that line again, which that's what I've been doing for so many years. You know, I'm giving up what my desires for someone else's.
Right.
And I just decided that's not the type of relationships I want to live anymore.
Okay. So you
And
find
that's what
that
it means.
okay, you find that you have better options by dating interracially,
Yes.
better
The
experiences.
yes, the guys that I've dated interracially, they were always open.
The white guys.
They Hispanic too.
Oh, okay, Hispanic and white. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm
Um,
not discriminating.
they were definitely a lot open
Hmm.
than the black guys. When I speak of black guys, I'm not talking about all black men. I'm
Right.
speaking about the black guys that I've had experience with.
Down south.
Um, you had to throw that in there.
I'm just
Um,
saying. I'm just saying.
True. They
It's a little
just
different up
weren't,
here.
mm.
Mm.
But it just felt like the guys that I've dated interracially, they were completely okay. You know,
Hmm.
it just was like I can actually have these relationships, come back and tell all the stories.
Hmm.
It wasn't no hard feelings, no jealousy,
Hmm.
and it just felt like that's where I wanted to be at.
Okay.
That's how I wanted my relationships to be. I don't, I love hearing the stories of all of my partners,
Hmm.
but I want to feel that same in return. And it wasn't until I dated interracially that I actually truly felt that.
I understand. So, so dating interracially, have you had any issues, or have you felt like you've been fetishized, or anything like that?
No, I
Hmm.
haven't felt that at all. Now, I've had issues with one particular partner.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't really, for me, it wasn't a huge issue, but they just wanted to be a little bit more clingy than what I like my men to be. Because I'm more that person, you know, you don't have to text me every single day or call
Nope.
me every day. I,
I'm the same way.
I like that person's space, but
Mm-hmm.
you know he needed that daily that constant communication throughout the entire day, and I think that's where some of our issues kind of started from.
Okay. So that's normal. That's normal relationship stuff right there. You can get that from anyone. Just somebody who's insecure or merely needy. You know,
Needy, yep, that's the word.
that's the word, right? Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, me myself, I can't. I think that's why I'm having an issue with using labels now at this point because I don't want to have to live up to the expectations of those labels. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if I call someone girlfriend or we're together or a couple, then from what I'm used to back in the the mono days, monogamous days, is that's basically I have to call you every day, let you know what I'm doing,
Mhm.
get everything cleared with about what I'm doing, and I frankly at this point in my life right now, I like being free to do what I want to do. I'll let you
And
know.
that
I'll let you know, but I don't want to be required to let you know.
right.
Hmm. Well, I
I
do
agree.
appreciate you. Yeah, that was cool, man. I kind of that was really cool. I think just listening to your story, I hope that people will be able to embrace swingers. You know what I mean in our community. It's nothing. It's crazy, man. I always tell my
Yeah,
story. I started as a swinger, you know, and
and I don't
ended up in
think
polyamory.
and I don't think nothing is wrong with it. I think my issue that
Hmm.
I have with people in general, this is just the entire polyamorous community, is people not stating how they feel, where they're trying to go.
Right.
People will sit here and have these feelings like, oh, I want to be a swinger, and then they do it behind people's back.
Right.
That for me is not cool.
No.
I feel like if that's something you want to do, and it's in your heart and that's where you're at that point in time in your life, I think everybody needs to know about it.
Hmm.
And there should be no shame, no guilt, and we, no matter what, should always embrace whoever's trying to just come out and be more freer, in a sense.
I agree. I
So,
agree. I agree. That's why that's why I started doing this podcast to talk about from our community, from the Black and Poly community, that we see that there's just different people doing different things, and you could what I'm saying, you could find your lane. You know what I'm saying, if
mhm.
you're honest about what you really want. You don't have to trick anybody. You don't have to take hostages. So I got one more question for you. Actually, just came into my head. Have you had since you're a single woman and you're kind of bi-flexible, hetero flexible, bisexual? So how about unicorns? So have you had any issues with unicorn hunting?
I've always had that issue.
Really?
Um,
How do you deal with
I
it?
just tell them, I just tell them up front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for couples. I will
Mm-hmm.
have sex with a couple,
Mm-hmm.
but I will never date a couple.
Have you ever dated a
Um,
couple?
I'm trying to think here.
Uh huh.
I'm
Sort
trying to
of.
really think here. I would say sort of. There was one couple. I really
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it,
Okay.
um, because it just felt like what the wife said goes.
What the
And
wife
and
said
it's
goes. Okay.
yeah,
That's
she
normally how
definitely
it goes.
wore she definitely wore the boxes in that relationship. And if something happened
Mm-hmm.
and it sparked of any type of insecurities on her part, we had to stop. And
Um.
for me, that's not a good feeling.
Right.
It's just not a good feeling. So for me, I just wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I wouldn't get involved with couples. I know there's probably good couples out there, but I prefer dealing with single guys
Okay.
or couples who date separately, completely separately.
Okay. Feel you. I feel you. Well, yeah. Like I said, your story's been very good, especially with the interracial thing. Um, because a lot of people just won't date interracially. They won't pursue it. They cut themselves off from it. It's definitely an issue in my marriage. She wouldn't date interracially. I tried to date interracially, but I didn't have any luck with it.
I enjoy it.
I
I
you
think
do.
honestly,
I get to
some
hear
of
the
the
stories, y'all.
let me tell you something. Some of the best,
Uh-huh.
best relationships I've been in, I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna say was definitely interracial
Okay.
relationships. Now, I'm not saying I cut black guys off if I find someone and I'm attracted to and I feel like his head is on right,
Right.
I would definitely date him. He's not
Okay.
like out of the dating pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm not going to put a whole bunch of restrictions on where I'm going to be or my love life. I'm
Right.
not putting restrictions anymore. I did that
Uh-huh.
before. I'm just not gonna do it anymore.
All right. More power to you, sister. I'm not mad at you. I'm not one of these people who have an issue with interracial dating. You know what I'm saying? Go where the love is, you know what I mean? Go where the good times are. Don't let that bullshit, hold you down. You know what I mean? Don't. All right. Well, thank you very much, Nell, for your time and your story. I really appreciate it. It was really great. I got a lot out of it, and I hope my listeners get a lot out of it too. I guess since you're not out and this is not your real name, you're not gonna plug anything. You don't want anybody to follow you on anything, type of nothing like that, right?
If they can, if they want.
I mean, if you want to put it out there, you can. If not, don't even worry about it. I just give everybody that chance to, say something.
I don't know it off bat, anyways.
Okay, don't worry about it. I appreciate you. I want to thank you for coming on the Melancholy Guy, and you know what I always say: peace and namaste.
All
Ciao.
right. Peace to you too.
So yeah, I hope you got something out of that. Was able to actually catch on to that story. What I got from that interview with Nell was basically do what you need to do for yourself, for your ethical non-monogamy, for your life, for your happiness. If the term polyamory, I don't know the polyamory community and the swinging community. I don't know. There's some reason that we're constantly at war, like thinking they move too fast with the sex, and them thinking that we move too slow with the sex, that we some kind of sex negative prudes and all this kind of stuff, and that's not true. Like I myself, I've been, and I think she did struggle with picking that title, that name, polyamorous swinger. I think she's definitely grasping it now. And one thing that I do know, she's probably better able or more comfortable using that term now that she's not really dealing too much with the African American or Black and poly community. I think it's more accepted in the white community. I know a show like I listen to Life on the Swing Set. I consider them to be polyamorous swingers, and they're happy. Most of them started as swingers, but now they have polyamorous relationships, and they definitely still do swing and get it on. Very, very, sex positive and into it, but they also have polyamorous relationships. I think one problem, I think she addressed it too. In our community, the problem that we have is some people, embrace the stigma with swinging, and for some reason they want to, you know, penalize people or come against people because they say they're swingers. So people don't people who are behaving exactly like swingers, you know what I mean? Like you could tell you're a swinger, but don't want to actually claim it because they want to stay within the polyamorous community, and then will take someone, tell someone they're into them and all this kind of stuff, and still just mess up events and cause all kind of drama just because they know they won't accept themselves. And then also, if someone calls himself a polyamorous swinger, that's going to be a problem because I don't know if I could trust you because you're in the swinging community. Even my friend Kim, she has she has a negative reaction to like if my episodes we're talking about swinging. She's like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to. I don't want to be around. You know, like that's a part of ethical non-monogamy. And I know it's something you may not be interested in, but it's just I don't know ethical non-monogamy. So what's the problem with just hearing an episode? Because it's part of my. It was part of my story. It is part of my story. And so I like talking about all parts of my story. So I really enjoyed that interview. I got a lot out of it. For me, it definitely told me to just go for what I know. Be honest about my story, and change is possible. Go into your community and enjoy it. I don't, if you want to be interracial, be interracial. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't, I have some people in my immediate area who are very, very pro-black, and more power. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm like pro-black too. I don't know. For me today, a white person or any person like that, you definitely have to be an ally. And that's for me. That's rare to see real allies. So I'm open always to any experience or adventure that might happen or come up. But really, I stay within my own community because that's where I'm comfortable in. I'm comfortable being me. I am unapologetically black, and I don't change or have any issues with being, black, talking how I talk and being how I be with me people, with my people. So, and I prefer that. So, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But I'm happy for her and getting it in. And I enjoy when she just calls me out of the blue and tells me what happened over the weekend. I used to love telling the stories from what happened on the weekend because swingers have wild weekends. But I get to hear her stories, and I do appreciate it. Sounds like a lot of fun. And I definitely love hearing about people that are enjoying themselves. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go into what's up with the polycule. Basically, not much. I'm still I can't say dating Kim. I guess me and Kim are still hanging out, seeing what's up with the with life, and trying to define us, what that's gonna look like. So it's good. I went out and helped out a friend today, someone who I was trying to go out with last year. But she needed some help packing up her house, so I helped her do that, and it's just nice being, like I said earlier, it's just nice being a service. If someone needs help, to just help a friend, and I really appreciate being able to do that, and that's cool. And I hope that I get to hang out with her some more. I think that'll be nice. And the polycule. I'm going to New York. I got the job now, and I'm going to New York a couple of days. So hopefully, I get to see a friend up there that I was sort of, I don't know, can't say dating. It was a long distance relationship or something. So hopefully, I can spend some time with her. And like I said, if anybody else is in New York and you listen to the podcast, you want to hang out, the 5th that night probably, I'll probably be free. If let's say take me out to dinner or something, but I can always hang out afterwards. So I don't think the 6th will be a busy day. I guess I'll be at work, but I should be able to hang out not too late, but just hang out in New York, one of my favorite places on earth. So that's it, man. Also the People's Potty Collective had their 1 year anniversary. They had a picnic in the park. Yeah, it was at Anacostia Park on Saturday. The pictures look great. Sorry I wasn't able to be there. I definitely will be active again, and I can't wait to see everyone from the People's Potty Collective. Chef Nina, Danielle, you guys are doing a great job. So that's in the DC area. So that's it, man. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. It's going to be, I think the interview is not too long. But so the future, something to change. So basically, I'm going to, after I get working, start working on my other projects. I'll talk about it more. I'm excited about the new adventure that's coming up. You'll hear more about it once I finalize the details. The plans are pretty much finalized. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna, fund it and get it kicked off. So it's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna be making and selling. So it's gonna be interesting to get back into that business, and that'll be the two. I'm gonna work on still working on like the studio for the DMV Podcaster Studios. That's still gonna happen, and that's it. Oh, so anyway, I'm the Melancholy Guy. Melancholy Guy on Instagram. Melancholy Guy on Tumblr. Melancholyguy.tumblr.com. Melancholy Guy on Facebook. That's the Facebook page. You also can find the Melancholy Guy on Instagram. Just search Melancholy Guy. And then you can follow me on social media. Also, if you want to participate in the Polyamorous Speaks and talk about your story, I want to talk about the 3 questions and answer the 3 questions so we can hear your story. What do you call your ethical non-monogamy? How did you come to the name, conclusion, or description? What does that look like in your life today? I'm looking for people who want to talk about it. People of color. I don't discriminate. But this is I center the thing around people of color right now. So if you want to come on, I have some people lined up to come on. Definitely need some guys. If you got some guys who want to talk, because I have most of my friends are women. This is just how it happens. I like women. So, but I definitely want to also include, guys talking about their ethical non-monogamy and mix it up, because I learned from these conversations. So, anybody that want to come on, feel free to hit me up. I'm saying on social media or anywhere, and we'll go set something up. We could do. It's always through Skype, so as long as you have Skype, we could do the interview. All right, so that's going to be it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for being here or not listening, whatever. So I also want to say that if at all possible, when you listen to the podcast, if you want to rate, comment, please do so on iTunes to bump that up if you have that. Like I said, I'm not doing this for any great listenership or building community. I'm still just learning the skills, and I really like doing it. It's been great for me to do this year, and I'm not going to stop because I like being in this space. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it on out. So always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself. Peace and namaste.